and Perloff on this Monday. And it was really sad news over the weekend, Perloff, that Bill Russell, the great champion and a person who personified winning in professional sports, college sports too, that he passed away at 88 years old. And I was really moved when I saw a Twitter video that Cedric Maxwell, a two-time champion in his own right, and of course a finals MVP, when he posted and said these incredible things about Bill Russell. And so we asked Cedric Maxwell if he'd come on the show, and we're so pleased that he would be able to join us for a few minutes now. Cedric, Cornbread, if we can call you that, thank you so much for making time for us today. We're so sorry for the loss of your friend, Bill Russell, but we appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, I mean, it is unfortunate, but I think that what we do now is a celebration of life. And that's why I'm looking at it, that, Bill Russell was bigger than basketball. He was able to do so many things. The Presidential Medal of Freedom, obviously you think about the championships, no better winner in the history of any sport that I know. 11 championships, to win 2 Olympic medals, to win 2 college medals, 2 Final Fours. That to me is incredible. And you just add the fact that he was the first black coach, and he was the fact he won 2 of those titles in coaching. He was a player coach. So it's unbelievable, his resume.
So, Cedric, full disclosure, I grew up in Philadelphia. You were often cursed in my household growing up. But I mean that as a compliment. But the rap was, Cedric, that this is what we said in Philadelphia. There was great respect for Bill Russell, that Wilt was the greatest player, but Russell was the greatest winner. How is it possible, and I don't know, you don't have to agree or disagree with that, but how is it possible that someone can be a great winner when there were other incredibly talented players around? What did Bill Russell do that was so different than everybody else in his generation?
I think Bill Russell, actually, everybody else was playing checkers. He was playing chess. And I think because of that, the way he thought the game out, the way he involved everybody. Kevin Garnett was a great shot blocker. He'd block it out of bounds. Bill Russell would block it over to his teammates. There were things that he did in a game that helped his teammates be that much more prepared. Garden people, I talked to Sat Sanders about it, and, he was telling me he played along with Russell. He said, look, I just had to funnel my man into Russ, and I knew he was going to block my shot. He was going to block the guy's shot, and he was going to be there for me. So those are the things that Bill Russell, he was just that good. He was obviously nowhere as good as Wilt Chamberlain physically. I'm not sure who's ever been that. But Wilt Chamberlain, to me, is the greatest scorer and all those things you talk about. But when you're team winner, to win that many times, we always talk about the Lakers are always bragging about their three-peat. Bill Russell did it 8 times. Back to back to back to back to back to back to back. You can't even say it that many times. How many times he won a championship in a row? So that is that really is his legacy. The fact he's the greatest winner that we've ever known, and probably will ever know. I can't even imagine anybody ever reaching those heights again in any sport.
Cedric Maxwell is our guest, reflecting on the life of Bill Russell, who passed away over the weekend, and his intellect, Cedric, which I've been reading so much about, how he thought the game, how he basically had you beat before you even walked on the court, his amazing memory, being able to recall games from 20 years back. Could he have been as great of a champion without that intellect?
No, couldn't have been. I think that you look, most of the great players, their intellect or their ability to analyze games or look back on games and then put that in their computer and then use that later on. That's what I think it's sometimes so funny when you think about LeBron James, how a reporter will ask him about a play that happened at some point of the game. And LeBron James will go back 3-4 plays before that, and then I pass it to him. Then we turn the ball over. Then we came back down. I hit that to me, the intellect of players really, that separates the great ones from the ones that are just really, really good.
Of course, Bill Russell was also known for his work in the civil rights movement. And there's so many stories about some of the difficulties he faced playing in Boston. When you got to Boston, did you ever get a chance to talk to him about what he went through?
Well, you just hear the stories, and I don't even think we talked about it. Bill Russell, give you guys a funny thing. I know how you like jokes. Bill Russell, when he saw me, this is what he would do. He would see me, he would start smiling, and then he would always give me the middle finger. That's what he would do every time I saw him. He would do the same thing. And then he'd speak to me. I'll ask him. I was like, dude, why do you keep doing that to me? And he turned around and gave me the middle finger again. If he liked you, he was giving you the finger. If he didn't like you, he was shaking your damn hand. But that's what he was. He always wanted to keep you off balance. Yeah, what things happened to him in Boston about the fact that somebody crapped in his bed when he went someplace, and it took him forever to get a statue in Boston. To me, if I am the city of Boston, how do you honor Bill Russell? There's a street called Boylston Street that runs down the middle of Boston. Sure. Change that to Bill Russell Way. Because, you already have a Ted Williams Tunnel. You have all these different things. Nobody that I know of, a sports person, has done more for their city than Bill Russell did for his city, his country, his nation, and his people.
So well put. There was a thought this morning, I forgot who it was who was positing this, that perhaps retiring Bill Russell's number 6 throughout the NBA, like baseball has done with Jackie Robinson, that's something they should do. What do you think about that, Cedric?
That's a great thought, but I'm just talking about the city of Boston.
Yeah.
And I understand that would, to me, I would love to see them do that. To retire that particular number and saying it can never be worn again. I think that would honor the man. It would honor his legacy. But for the city of Boston, I think you have to step one step further and step up and say, this is what we want to do. Again, you have the Ted Williams Tunnel in Boston. You have all these things, Tip O'Neill something and this and that. Well, how about this for Bill Russell, who's done all these things for this city? You Philly people are always the same, man. I always tell people about the stories of the Sixers fans when we used to pull up to the old Spectrum, and you'd have maybe 200 or 300 people before the game, and they would all be standing there giving you, just like Bill Russell, giving you the middle finger. And this is what was so sad about it. It was moms, it was dads, and it was kids. And they were encouraging their kids in Philly. Good job, Joey. This is what we think of the Celtics. So, yeah, I do, and I've always loved Philly, man. That's a crazy madhouse of a place.
But you got plenty of revenge, so I'm not feeling bad for you at all. Not for 1 second.
Oh, man, come on, man. I still love the fact that it's one of the all-time great series I ever played in was when Boston came back in 1981, being down 3-1 to Philly and beating them in 7 games in Boston. And that was one of Philly's greatest teams with the great Julius Erving. That was a remarkable series.
Can we please clip that, and we're going to play it back for Perloff every single day from now to the end of time? So, yes. I love it. I need more ammunition against all this Philly talk, Cedric, and it's so great of you to join us as we're reflecting on the life of Bill Russell. It's funny, that story about him giving you the middle finger, and it was kind of like, it showed that he liked you. It was like an endearing thing. It seemed like Bill Russell was very generous for people who wanted to, seek out his advice, for people who wanted him to be a mentor. It seemed like he was very generous with his time in that way.
Well, I think that Bill Russell was like your grandpa. And, your grandpa might tell you to do something. You might even think it was wrong, but you still do it. And then you found out later on it was right. You're going, well, Grandpa, you were good. That's how I've very seldom heard a bad word said about Bill Russell when it came down to what he wanted to do and how he wanted to do it. And players that he's always taken under his wing. During the time when Kevin Garnett was there, he took Kevin Garnett under his wing until he won his championship. And the first thing Kevin Garnett did was he walked up to Bill Russell. He said, I got my own now. I got my own. And they both got into an embrace, and it was so genuine, man, that it was just really cool to be around Bill.
So, Cedric,
cool.
You already suggested naming a street after him, which we think is a great idea. What do you think the team will do to honor him next season?
I don't even know what you can do. I mean, number 6 is already retired. It's in the rafters. So you can't do anything like that. Are you going to wear a number of, maybe you might wear some on the patch of your jersey or something like that. But I don't know anything else that the team could really do when it came to that. I just felt really bad for the longest time that Bill Russell took them that long to have a statue, and they didn't even put it in front of the Garden. They put it at City Hall. And that's why I used to do talk radio there. And when I would end my talk radio gig, what I would always say at the very end was, this city won't be itself until Bill Russell has a statue someplace in this city. And finally, they did it with Obama and some of the Celtic leadership who were there. They made that happen.
Man, and, his relationship with the city, we've touched on it a little bit, but did it come fully back around? Like, do you think that, that Bill ever truly, felt fully appreciated by the city of Boston? Or do you think there was always maybe a lingering resentment because of some of the racism that he encountered?
I think Bill Russell was at peace. At the end of at the end of all this, I think he was at peace with the organization. He was at peace with the NBA. I think he still saw a lot of things in this world which weren't right. But when you saw him, and for the last time I saw him, actually, I was at Kobe Bryant's memorial service. And that's the first time I knew Bill was kind of going downhill. I was actually there. They gave the Celtic team, gave them tickets to the game, to Kobe's event. And they said, well, I could have a ticket. And they would give me an individual ticket. And I was thinking, like, man, where am I going? I don't want to sit in the nosebleeds. Well, my seat was right behind Bill Russell. And Bill Russell stood up. Kobe's wife, Vanessa, came in. And Bill Russell was trying to get up. And this is the first time I knew he was weak. And the fact that literally and figuratively, I got my hands and I shoved him from behind to get up out of that seat.
Wow.
And I said, man, finally Superman is showing his age. And, I love that dude, man. He was just, his laughter, it wasn't a laugh, it was a cackle. And when you heard him, it was infectious. And he made everybody else around him love the stories I always told.
Cedric, last one for you. And again, thank you so much for making time to remember your friend and a legend in Bill Russell. And you said in your Twitter video yesterday that he understood the world in a way that we don't. What did you mean by that?
Well, I just think that he saw a way for the world to be equal. He saw positive things going on that we will eventually see. He was like, Martin Luther King. At the end, I remember one of his last speeches, he said, I've gone to the mountaintop, I've looked over, and I might not get there with you, but I've seen the coming. And I think that's what Bill, he saw the coming of different things that were happening in the NBA, in the world. There were a lot of things that transformed during his time of the 60s and the 70s, and it's just unfortunate that we've had this little bump in the road, but Bill Russell will be always that shining light that I'll look at and I'll go, man, that's the way to live. And that's the way. If we could say we were going to be 88, if I'm 88 years, I mean, I got another 20-something to go, 80 whatever years he was, and I had that many more to go, and I could have just an inkling of what Bill Russell did in his life, I would be happy.
Wow. Cedric, thank you so much. The two-time NBA champ, of course, the Finals MVP. Can't tell you how much we appreciate this and giving us some perspective on the life, the career, what a giant Bill Russell was, just a one of one. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
No, appreciate you. Thank you. Wow.
That's powerful.
Yeah, we need that message now, like more than ever.
Yeah.
It
does sound, in a lot of ways, Bill Russell is one of one. And what I found interesting, Cedric explained why he was such a winner, because he was an incredible talent who was also a team player. Yeah. Reminds me of, and it seems like that's a common formula for the biggest winners ever. Michael Jordan, well, not really Jordan necessarily, but LeBron, Tom Brady, they always kind of help their teammates and make everyone around them better. And sounds like Bill Russell did it better than anyone. But he said you can't go back to back to back to back to back. You can't even say it.
I know, unless you're Chris Berman calling a home run.
Exactly.
That's basically it. That was really cool. Our appreciation, our thanks to Cedric Maxwell, and reflecting on the life of Bill Russell, who passed away at the age of 88. We're back in a minute. Thank you for watching our video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to see more videos like this, just hit the bell.
Yeah, ring the bell.
Just hit the bell.